Hello dear viewers, welcome to this edition of the News in English with me, Serge Nore. I'll be sitting in for Martina Abera for this edition. Let us begin with the headlines. People still suffering from the effects of the COVID-19 virus when the pandemic, that they contracted when the pandemic was at its height, say that they are asking for assistance with their medical bills. Women and girls who use sanitary pads have been complaining that despite promises from the government 5 years ago that their prices would reduce, the exact opposite has been happening. People living with HIV in Rwanda are warning the general public, particularly the youth, against careless behavior patterns that can lead to infection, saying the threat the virus poses has not gone away. And on the international scene, as part of a 5-year plan to develop East Jerusalem, Israel has opened a high-tech hub that aims to boost employment for Palestinians. Now the details. Thank you again for taking the time to join us. Before we begin this edition, let us first read to you the following announcement from the government of Rwanda. Based on the provisions of the Constitution of the Republic of Rwanda, especially Articles 111, 112, and 116, on the 22nd of August 2023, His Excellency, the President of the Republic, has made the following appointments. In the Cabinet, Gaspard Twagirayezu is the Minister of Education. Professor Jeannette Bayisenge is the Minister of Public Service and Labor. Dr. Valentine Uwamariya is the Minister of Gender and Family Promotion. Major General Albert Murasira is the Minister in charge of Emergency Management. Janine Munyeshuri has been appointed the Minister of State for Public Investment and Resource Mobilization in Minecofin. Solange Kaisire is the Minister of State for Local Government. Claudette Irere is the Minister of State for Education. Eric Rwigamba is the Minister of State for Agriculture and Animal Resources. Dr. Claudine Uwera, the Minister of State for Environment. Sandrine Omutoni, the Minister of State for Youth. Other appointments. Major General retired Dr. Charles Rudakwana, the proposed ambassador to the Republic of Angola. Margaret Nyagahura, the proposed ambassador to Hungary. Assumpta Ingabire has been appointed the Director General of National Child Development Agency. And Nadine Gatsinzi Umutoni has been appointed the Chief Gender Monitor of the Gender Monitoring Office. The announcement has been signed by the Prime Minister of Rwanda, Dr. Edouard Ngirente, on behalf of His Excellency President Paul Kagame. Now, I'll read that again. Based on the provisions of the Constitution of the Republic of Rwanda, especially Articles 111, 112, and 116, on the 22nd of August 2023, His Excellency President Paul Kagame has made the following appointments. Gaspard Twagirayezu has been appointed the Minister of Education. Professor Jeannette Bayisenge, the Minister of Public Service and Labor. Dr. Valentine Uwamariya, the Minister of Gender and Family Promotion. Major General Albert Murasira, the Minister in charge of Emergency Management. Janine Munyeshuri, the Minister of State for Public Investment and Resource Mobilization in Minecofin. Solange Kaisire, the Minister of State for Local Government. Claudette Irere, the Minister of State for Education. Eric Rwigamba, the Minister of State for Agriculture and Animal Resources. Dr. Claudine Uwera, the Minister of State for Environment. Sandrine Omutoni, the Minister of State for Youth. As for other appointments that have been made, Major General retired Dr. Charles Rudakwana has been appointed the proposed ambassador to the Republic of Angola. Margaret Nyagahura, the proposed ambassador to Hungary. Assumpta Ingabire, the Director General of the National Child Development Agency. And finally, Nadine Gatsinzi Umutoni, the Chief Gender Monitor of the Gender Monitoring Office. The announcement has been signed by the Prime Minister on behalf of the President of the Republic. Now on to our top story. Some of the people who are still dealing with the post-COVID-19 complications are requesting for medical care assistance. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization has noted that 10% of people who suffer, that is, from COVID-19 still face mid and long-term effects from the virus. Olive Nete with the details.
According to this person, who chose to stay anonymous, he has been infected with COVID-19 twice, and he says that he sometimes has difficulty in breathing, which he says is a threat to his health.
Sometimes my body feels weak, and sometimes I also have difficulties in breathing, and this even affects the mental capacity because of insufficient oxygen, and at times it is hard also to get some sleep or sleep a bit late.
This is also affirmed by physicians who explain how COVID-19 can cause mid or long-term effects.
Most of the times they come with symptoms such as difficulty in breathing, and they will tell you that when they are doing sports or other activities, they get tired easily, and when we carry out health assessments, we sometimes diagnose what we call lung fibrosis.
People with such long-term effects due to COVID-19 request medical support and special medical care.
As people with such effects, we face a lot of difficulties, and sometimes when you go to the hospital, they may not give you immediate care, yet you can collapse at any time, and you may die. That is why we need support so that we can get proper treatment.
Dr. Edson Rwagasore, the Division Manager in Public Health Surveillance and Emergency Preparedness and Response at Rwanda Biomedical Center, notes that there are special teams established in all hospitals around the country to take care of people with post-COVID-19 effects.
Kuri iyo mpamvu nibwo twaganishije mu kugira ngo duhugure abaganga n'ibigo nderabuzima byose.
Due to that reason, we decided to train doctors and all health centers so that they can be able to identify people with such symptoms, so that they can be sent to the hospitals for further and immediate services. Currently, the services are found in all hospitals, and they also want to join into the department of NCDS so that they can receive treatment in a permanent manner, such as being assessed and receiving proper medication.
Dr. Edson also notes that in Rwanda, every week, less than 10 patients of COVID-19 pandemic are recorded.
To date, every patient who comes with all symptoms, we provide him with medication. This is not usual because at times we thought that COVID-19 has no cure, but we currently have a medication called Paxlovid.
The World Health Organization has indicated that 10% of all COVID-19 patients are experiencing health complications from the disease. In Rwanda, it has been found that 100 out of 1,000 people have suffered from COVID-19, and these are the same people that experience a variety of mid or long-term effects after they recover from their initial illness, as reported by health institutions. Olive Nete, RTV News.
Thank you, Olive. Now, women and girls who use sanitary pads have been complaining that despite promises from the government 5 years ago that their prices would reduce, the exact opposite has been happening. Some young girls have continued to struggle to be able to continue to go to school during their periods, unable to afford pads. All of this despite the government eliminating VAT on such products in a bid to make them affordable. Health experts have also been warning that when women and girls are unable to afford sanitary pads, they are forced to use unsanitary alternatives that can have serious effects on their long-term health. Now, the Rwandan Minister of Youth has been noting that the Youth Connect Summit has contributed towards youth understanding their role in Rwanda's development as well as the development of Africa in general. He made the remarks in an exclusive interview with RBA, as on Wednesday will mark the 10th year anniversary of Youth Connect.
So we were at the Petit Stade in 2012, and the president told the young people that the future we are creating, we want to go to, we create it along the way. We create it today by embracing good values, hard work, excellence, but also thinking big and having good innovations that you can market, that you can develop, that you can pitch, and you get the kind of funding and you can develop. So we learned 5 things in the last 10 years of Youth Connect. One, our young people can develop, can innovate, and they feel confident and capable to compete nationally, locally, and internationally. They can bring their ideas out there in the world, and they get grants and they get funding. They can even get loans from the banks to develop their projects. And number 5, we can still see forward. We can think ahead. We can think bigger from today with other projects. So Youth Connect celebration that we are celebrating tomorrow is an innovation born in Rwanda, initiated by His Excellency the President of the Republic. This innovation is allotted by the youth, and we have seen that it can work. Even African friends, more than 30 countries have adopted the Youth Connect model because it has been clear that Africans can innovate, decide on a solution to African challenges, and Youth Connect is one of the examples.
The Rwandan Minister of Youth, Dr. Abdallah Nepo Utumatwishima, speaking to Prince Manzi on the 10th anniversary, that is, of Youth Connect. Now, 44 local residents in Jabana's sector of Gasabo district here in Kigali City employed to guard equipment belonging to the Rwanda Energy Group claim that they have now gone for 4 months without getting paid for the work that they do, while at the same time unable to abandon their duties in search for alternative means of making a living for themselves and their families. They say that they were last paid when energy distribution operations were still ongoing in their area, and each of the local residents is owed at least $250,000 Rwandan francs, and that they have repeatedly asked to be paid what they are owed, but to no avail. They also say that they are unable to get REG to come and take its equipment away, or at the very least hire someone else to guard it so that they can go about looking for other sources of income. In Jari's sector also of Gasabo district, we found another 30 people in the same predicament, though they say it is another company that was leased to use the equipment, though it belongs to REG, which is why they blame the group for not paying them, not the contractor. An official statement is yet to be issued by REG on the matter. Now, people living with HIV here in Rwanda are warning the general public, especially the youth, against careless behavior patterns that can lead to infection, saying the threat the virus poses has not gone away. We have the details on that. The people we spoke to thanked the government of Rwanda for working to ensure that they are able to continue living their lives in normalcy, despite the presence of the deadly virus in their bodies. We are now able to work normally and have enough strength, just like anybody else in society, with no problems. The sort of medication we now take does not require us to be constantly at the doctors the way it used to be, because we are now able to go and collect pills that will last for 6 months. There is, however, reason to be concerned about another aspect of the threat HIV poses. Among the youth is where the greatest challenge exists, especially when it comes to their mindsets. They have this illusion that AIDS is just another illness, with some not going for testing and those found to carry the virus not taking their medicine daily as they should. However, regarding the country's ranking when it comes to implementing the directives of the Joint United Nations Programme on HIV/AIDS, it's very good, among the top 5 countries globally. This irresponsible behavior among the country's youth means the infection rate has remained at 3% for the last 2 decades or so. Still, the death rate among those infected has fallen drastically, and they are basically able to live all of their lives healthy. Yes, the infection rate has not reduced, but the fact is that it is still lower than when there were no antiretroviral drugs. Figures from the Rwanda Biomedical Center indicate that 220,000 people living with HIV are on the drugs. Now to the transportation sector, where MTN Rwanda has provided new overalls for the taxi motorcyclists of Kigali City, promising to help them to get access to insurance for their motorcycles that they will be able to pay for in installments. We have more on that as well. Thousands of taxi motorcyclists gathered at the Kigali Palace Stadium to receive their new overalls. We are happy about the new overalls and the ease in services that will come with them, though we believe monetary compensation is also right, because this is a form of advertising. We should be paid to wear their logo. We had told them that we need 2 overalls, and we are happy that they have agreed to give them to us. If they do that, it will be enough. Indeed, not all who went to the stadium to get their new overalls got them, but they were promised that the overalls would be delivered to their cooperatives. All of this has been made possible thanks to a partnership between the city of Kigali and MTN Rwanda. Every one of them will get the first 2 overalls free and be required to pay for any more they may need afterwards at a cost of between 4 and 5,000 Rwandan francs each. We want them to do their jobs well and have been talking to them in collaboration with the Rwanda National Police in line with the Gerayo Amahoro campaign, coupled with the importance of cleanliness. MTN Rwanda said the taxi motorcyclists will not be financially compensated for wearing its logo, though the deal does provide a number of other very beneficial opportunities. They will not get any money directly, but there will be other benefits provided for them through our services. I cannot elaborate too deeply about it right now, but I can tell you that any of them unable to pay for their insurance up front will be able to come to us for help and pay us back in installments. Using their MomoPay accounts, they are able to receive payments free of charge as long as the amount is less than 4,000 Rwandan francs at a time. They are also able to save their money with us while it is making interest for them. Their agreement is to last for 2 years, starting in Kigali city and spreading to other areas of the country in the provinces. As always, I'm glad you were able to join us for this edition. I hope to see you again soon. Goodbye.